Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm bringing you a ruling video for Yummy. The first ruling is going to be how Obedience School interacts with face down monsters. So let's say you activate Obedience School, you activate Obedience School and they chain the synchro to tag out like you're playing a mirror, right? They summon the guys, okay, they summon 2, we summon 3 from the deck. One res triggers the Yummy effects, pops one of our guys, and then they go to synchro summon. They synchro summon Lollipop Way to Book of Moon our guys, right? And let's say we just pass turn here. Are the monsters destroyed? Because Obedience School reads, destroy those monsters during the end phase. Also negate their effects. The monsters will actually not be destroyed during the end phase, because when a monster is flipped set face down, all lingering effects are removed. And that also includes the effects to be destroyed. And also, their effects also won't be negated too, but that's not really like a big deal. I mean, it could be relevant if you use Obedience School trigger effects and then like chain like a book card or something like that. But for the most part, it's not really gonna be too relevant. But this part is very relevant though, especially in the mirror. It's gonna be the same ways you get hit by like book of eclipse as just another example. And yeah. The second ruling is going to be surprise. So specifically surprises effect that says target 2 light beast monsters you control and 2 cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. So let's say you activate surprise, I target my 2 monsters and I target 2 of my opponent's monsters, right? And then let's say I chain Snatchy effect to synchro summon. So I use my 2 monsters that I targeted for a synchro summon. Now the monsters that I targeted are not in the field anymore. What's going to happen to the opponent's monsters? Well, the opponent's monsters are still going to get returned to the extra deck, and this is because surprise says return them to the hand. It doesn't have to return every targeted card, so you can do stuff like this to help basically like cheat the system. You know, change Snatchy so you don't have to actually like return your cards to the hand. That's like an easy free way to help remove opponent's resources, and it's something that you should know. It's very relevant. The next ruling is going to be solemn, specifically when the summon of something is negated. So let's say you have a link 1 on the field, right? Let's say I special summon Cupsy from the hand. My opponent uses Solemn Warning to negate the summon, because Warning says when a monster would be summoned, or a spell and trap, or monster effect is activated, that includes an effective summon, pay 2,000 life points to negate summon, or activation if you destroy that card. So the summon of my Cupsy was negated. You can actually still special summon another Cupsy, because even though Cupsy says you can only special summon Cupsy once per turn this way, because the summon wasn't successful, it doesn't count it. So you're actually able to still summon the Cupsy from the hand, and then still like trigger the effect here. And this is pretty cool. Versus Solemn Strike, it's not that relevant, because Solemn Strike, they'll probably just wait for like the Cupsy effect. But versus Warning, it is a little bit relevant, because Warning is going to be seeing more play than Solemn Strike, because Warning is just better in the meta overall. Like Warning can stop Obedience School, and obviously with the Mitsu cards. But yeah. The next ruling is going to be set rotation. Set rotation with like Snatchy. So set rotation says set 2 field spells with different names from your deck to the field, 1 on the field and 1 on your opponent's field. While either of those cards remain set, neither player can activate or set other field spells. If Snatchy has an effect that says if this card is special summon, you can place a Yummy field spell from your deck or hand to the field. So can you actually activate Snatchy under set rotation? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. Because it doesn't set. So set rotation says neither player can activate or set other field spells, but Yummy Snatchy doesn't activate or set. It places it, which is very, very different. So you can still activate Snatchy under set rotation. Set rotation isn't going to be too relevant in the format, but you know, maybe you play against somebody who's using it, and then it's good to know. The next ruling is going to be Caesar or cards to negate the effect, like special summon the monster, like the Tier Element Fusion Rukaros is another example, versus Snatchy. So let's say you Snatchy effect, which lets you 1 res link summon a monster. They can actually Caesar to negate it, like just like they can Rukaros to negate it. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, Caesar, if we play against the Phoenix deck, just know that. It shouldn't be too relevant though, but yeah. Another ruling is going to be tactics versus like your take control effects, which this isn't really relevant to or this isn't specific to just Yummy, but you know, it's still something that you should know. So let's say we use a monster effect earlier in the turn, right? And our opponent activates tactics to take. Let's say we chain Yummy, Cupsy Yummy Way to tag out. So we summon 2 Yummies from the graveyard, right? We summon the Link 1, then we summon the cookie. Okay, they take the link 1. Can we activate the effect of Snatchy, or is our opponent able to activate the effect of Snatchy, the trigger effect on summon? And this is really going to depend on like what region you live in. Honestly, if you live in the OCG, like you live in Asia, you know, Japan, Korea, you know, whatever, the opponent who took its monster tactics is able to activate the effect. But over here in the TCG, the owner of the card is going to be able to activate it. So me in this position, I would be able to activate the effect of Snatchy to place, even though I don't control it anymore. Which I know is kind of weird, but that's just how it works. That's just how it's been ruled generally in the TCG. But at the end of the day, you should double check with your head judge before like every event that you play in, just to make sure. But yeah, it should be pretty consistent now. That's a mid note. The next ruling is going to be Cupsy Yummy Way. This isn't, or just any Cupsy Synchro in general. So the Cupsy Synchros all have effects that says when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra deck. Special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. So the question is, can you activate this tag out effect when you have no Yummy monsters in your graveyard? Because it says up to 2, right? And 0 is kind of up to 2. But the answer is no, you cannot. You have to have at least 1 Yummy in the graveyard. I know even though it says up to 2, that might be a little bit confusing, but it just means that like you can summon up 1 or 2, but you can't summon 0. So you have to have a Yummy in your graveyard to be able to activate this effect. So in this scenario, I have to drop it in my graveyard as the only use card, and it's a spell, it's not a Yummy. So I'm not able to actually use the effect to tag out. So yeah, keep that in mind. So also I just wanted to talk about Yummy Surprise in general. So Surprise has 3 effects, right? It says activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect of Yummy Surprise once per turn. You can target 2 light beast monsters you control and 2 cards your opponent controls return to the hand. You can also switch summon a Yummy from your hand or graveyard, but cannot attack directly. Or you can return a field spell from your face-up field or graveyard to the hand. Then you can place the field spell from your hand face-up to the field. So this has 3 effects, and you can actually activate this card multiple times per turn. I just want to make that clear. You can activate it 3 times per turn, but you cannot activate it to use the same effect multiple times. So what does that mean? It means, let's say I activate Surprise and I use it to like bounce cards, right? Like the first effect, return a card my opponent control and I control to the hand. I can activate the card a second time, but it has to be either the second bullet point or the third bullet point. I can't use the first bullet point again, you know? And then, let's say I use the first bullet point, then I activate the card a second time using the second bullet point. You can then activate the card a third time doing the third bullet point. So technically you can activate the card 3 times a turn, but it has to be a different effect each time you do it. And then if the activation is negated, can you do the same effect again? You cannot activate the same effect again. So let's say we use the first effect, right? Target 2 light beast monsters you control and 2 cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. Let's say our opponent chains Solemn Judgment to it. Or like S.A. Dawn Draxer. Well, we can activate Surprise again, but we cannot use that effect again, even though the activation was negated, because it says you can only use each effect once per turn. So that is something you need to note as well. I just want to like get that out in the air. It's not like a super specific ruling, but I just want to make that known for Surprise. Although most of the time in actual games, it's not like too relevant, but like the first 2 bullet points are pretty important. The third bullet point doesn't really come up that much. I mean, to like dodge them, like banishing your minion with like SP or whatever, or binder. But yeah, that's it for the ruling video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And comment down below any other videos you want to see from me in the future. And I'll probably be doing a ruling video for the other Justice Hunters decks as well. Maybe. It's weird. I don't think they all have a ton of rulings, so maybe not. Maybe I'll just make like a post or something. Or maybe I'll just like combine like the Vanquish K9 and like Dracotail rulings. I don't know. Anywho, take care.